right, everybody, man. Appreciate everybody for joining us, man. Another episode, LGR Live Sunday Night Hoops, man. Happy New Year's to everybody. Coach Kendrick, man, happy New Year's to you, man. How you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. How about yourself, man? Down there in New Orleans, bro.
Can't complain. It's a little foggy, I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty crazy out here. So everybody, if you're on the roads, man, be safe. Especially with the fireworks, all the smoke and everything. So it's a little foggy, but other than that, man, I can't complain. Excited to bring in, I guess you can say, the second half of the season. Looking at the schedule and everything with all the games coming up. Of course, we got the Sugar Bowl tournament, which is a huge tournament, and then you start seeing the district games lining up, and especially with the power rankings and everything, those things being added up, it's starting to kind of fill itself out. So we'll kind of skim through the overall rankings in each classification. Those are gonna, like you said the last time, they're gonna start kind of filling themselves out as far as team by team. So we'll kind of focus a little bit more on the top 25. But man, before we get started with that, appreciate you, man. You live streamed for us 15 games last week, man. So you want to kind of talk about some of those games? I'll pull up some of the games here that some of the games that you saw. That is the games at West Monroe. That I think that was that Thursday game, and then we got the Tuesday as well. Man, you want to talk about the West Monroe games before we get started?
Yeah, man. It was a nice shout out to Coach Lee Morrow, man. He put on a great tournament. Coach John Green now passing it off to him, and he kept the tradition going there at the Sidney Smith Invitational. Man, there was some good team, good playing, good basketball there in West Monroe. That surely is a tournament. If teams are really looking for a good tournament to get to, that's a good tournament to get to. Man, I was very impressed. First time seeing them in person, Albany. Very impressed by them. Got to see what the hype is about, and I see why they're 18, 19-0. You know what I mean? So definitely love watching them. And then, as always, man, it looks like those two teams are on a collision course, Albany and Wiseman. They're on a collision course down in Hammond, man, and it's going to be fun to watch when we get there in March. We went back over on Thursday. I think we went back over there.
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah,
and called the Wiseman and Huntington rematch. Pretty good there in the first half, man. Brittany Burton was in foul trouble, but as we said in our post, man, she's a difference maker. When she came back to the court on the second half, man, it was pretty much, it's too big. Wiseman was too big for Huntington there. So it was overall, though, it was a great tournament, great tournament. Ponchatoula, I saw them, with them injuries and Coach Patricia, man, they're going to be okay. I was impressed by them as well.
For sure, man. I'll talk a little bit about. I got to catch the Washington Marion Classic. Then we'll throw it back to you to talk about the airline tournament. It's just good to see a bunch of different teams. Hearing a lot about Peabody. They're very senior heavy. They've got the guards, the forwards, the bigs. So I mean, they're a pretty good team, man. I think they're. Like I talked about in the post that I had. The War Horses they're a dark horse, man. I think they've got enough pieces to get it done night in, night out, whether it's at home or on the road, whatever they need to do to get to that top 28. I think a top 28 is a goal of theirs, and then once they make it there, they do have a style of play that does favor them. They're not going to go out there and shoot a ton of threes or rely on the three ball when it's a hard place to shoot at, stuff like that. So I think they could make to the top 28. I think they could definitely have a good showing. So it's good to see them. Saw Sulphur for the first time. They won a lot of games. They played well. Still a couple games away. I mean, a little bit away. I think next year they'll be a lot better as far as competing at the highest level. They're just well coached and very disciplined team. They're going to keep winning games. The game of the day of the weekend for me, of course, was LCA Barb. But I want to talk about the Lakeview versus Hicks game. Really good game. Again, Hicks is really balanced. They can shoot the three ball. Reese can handle it off the bounce. They got some presence inside. Another team, like, that division is so crazy, man. So to see them come out there and compete against Lakeview, and then on the flip side, Lakeview won the game, man. So that was a big win for Lakeview. Lakeview is also balanced, So saw a lot of good teams that are very balanced and not just relying on one kid or a certain aspect of the game. They can kind of whenever something happens, they can switch to something else. So it's some good basketball, man. Christmas is where you're really trying to challenge yourself. So I think a lot of these teams did challenge themselves, and that's kind of where we land with the LCA versus Barb game, man. It was a top 6 matchup we had across the state. LCA being number 1, I think Barb was number 6 at the time. Great game, man. Went down to the wire. Really, they kind of shut Jada Richard down, which was pretty cool to see. And then I'm talking to some other people at the game. It was their first time seeing Jada play, and they felt like she still dominated. That's just how good that kid is. Shout out, tip my hat to both those coaches. The game plan that they had coming in was great, but both of them made adjustments at halftime and just kind of stayed throughout. It was a great game, man. I mean, I could go back and watch that one another 4 or 5 times. That's how good of a game it was. What else you had in the airline game, man? I mean, the airline.
Yeah, man, we got over. Shout out to Coach Lindsay McConaughey, man. She invited us over to the airline tournament. We got out there, saw some good games. Man, the team I was very impressed with of that airline tournament is the team that won it. Was Gibbsland Coleman, man. Small school, 179 kids in the whole K through 12. But man, they knocked off 3 5A schools, and they're all in that tough 1-5A district. So to be a small school and still go knock off those 5A schools, man, very impressed by Gibbsland Coleman. And Samara Sampson, man, she's on another level. She showed why she was the best player in the airline tournament overall. You know what I mean? And then she's got some supporting pieces. So, but the thing is, and I think we were talking about this, Gibbsland plays in Division 5. and they're in there with Fairview and all the other ones. So so it's Midland and all those other schools, man. It's gonna like we said the other night, the quarterfinals in that division is gonna be wow. And
so
forget the semifinals. Who gets to the top 28? Man, it's gonna be a wild quarterfinals to see who gets to the top 28. So shout out to Gibbsland Coleman, man. She deserved the MVP, man, of that tournament. She had it going with the lights on bright. So shout out to the small schools, man. And at the Doc Edwards, the airline tournament was a great tournament. Man. We saw some great teams. So shout out to them.
Yeah, it was a great crowd too, man. Like you said, they had to shut the door down for the championship game. With the boys' game going afterwards, a lot of people got there, so shut the door down, man. So that's pretty cool to see. So I mean, those people that don't get out to the north, they really support basketball, especially at that level. So shout out to Airline, like you said, man, put on that event. It's been a tournament that's been around for a long time. So another good opportunity if you want to keep challenging yourself as far as a team and have a good environment for 3 days. I want to give a shout out to Walker and Parkway, 2 of our top teams in the state. Went out to Duncanville. Captain Shreve also went. They struggled a little bit. They are down. But Parkway and Walker, man, both teams went out there, competed, played at a super high level. Parkway, of course, led by Michaela Williams, playing against Duncanville. She was the best player in the tournament, in my opinion. Night in, night out. For whatever reason, they're playing her straight man-to-man. She's ISO and ball screening, just doing what she does. Like I always say, when she starts the clapping thing on defense, you're in trouble. It's a little too late.
Trouble.
A little too late at that point. But, Parkway played really well. Long story short, they came in 3rd place, had a great showing. Had Duncanville kind of on the ropes, just ran out of gas a little bit. Again, man, having the Wilson kid and maybe, having Dakota Howard available just to add a little bit more depth, I think I would really love to see how Parkway can compete. But nonetheless, man, come away at 3rd place at arguably the biggest and best regional tournament in our area. The tournament's been going on for 70 years. They get people from California all the way down. Some of the teams weren't able to, or I think one of the teams weren't able to get there with the flights and everything, unfortunately. But they came in 3rd. Walker came in 6th. Both had great showings. Both actually played Duncanville. Walker played Duncanville in the quarterfinals, and then Parkway played them in the semifinals. So it was amazing, man. As far as Parkway, Chloe Larry played really well. I still like the Henderson kid. I'm a big fan of hers. I think she had a good showing, knocked down a couple of threes, showed she can defend a little bit. Definitely like Coach Clay said, man, Kalen Travis was unbelievable, man. Like I know we talk about Corey and he runs a lot of sets and everything, but several of the times it was get Kalen Travis a basketball, let her go 4 low and make a play. And Kalen was a beast, man. I tweeted about it and posted about it. In my opinion, she already locked up All State. Like there's no questions asked. The kid should be 3-time All State 5A guard. She's a stud. Yeah, she does not get the credit she deserves. And we're literally saying this child is a 3-time 5'8" All State guard. Like that is unbelievable. But hey, shout out to Loyola. I mean, they locked that up early, and I'm excited to see kind of how her career translates into that next level at the college level. She showed she can compete with anybody and everybody. And like I said, you really find out who's who whenever it comes down to, all right, I got to give somebody the basketball, and I got to go out and get a bucket, especially at that level. And Caitlin Travis did that. Michaela Williams did that. Chloe Larry did that at times as well. So that was really, really good as far as a national standpoint for our Louisiana girls. But let's go ahead and jump. Go ahead.
I want, before we get into our top 25 and our rankings, man, I'll just give a shout out to two kids up north, man. Shout out to Kendall Graham, man. She picked up that offer from ULM. That's big time for a freshman. And then, I mean, she's had a stellar freshman year so far. So as you said on the post, man, college coaches got no choice but to take notice. You know what I mean? Sure. And then shout out to Rhodesia Minnie Williams, man. She broke the 1,000 career mark points for Southwood, man. So that's huge in itself for a kid. You know, I had a chance to coach her, man, for 2 or 3 years. So for a kid that not really a true scorer, you know what I mean? She gets her most, as you called her one time. She's probably the best snowboarder in the state. Bro. You know what I mean? And so to get 1,000 points, man, just off basically steals and layups. That's in her. She'll go to college for D1 track. She has several D1 track offers, man. But to be playing basketball and to reach that accomplishment it's amazing.
For sure, man. Absolutely. And we had another girl reach 1,000 points, Caroline Adams, junior out of E.D. White, man. So, I mean, there's a lot of good basketball being played. I think it's a lot of good team basketball as well. Like I said, we're seeing the combination of good teams, good coaches, balanced teams finding ways to win. And then, of course, we're still having our girls that are performing at a high level nationally. So it's good to kind of see a little bit of everything. And, I mean, I think that's the best performance we've ever had at Duncanville. As far as from Louisiana, I think it's going to be tough to beat as a whole. Louisiana going out there, put a 3rd-place team and a 6th-place team. That's unbelievable, especially for both of them to be on Duncanville's side of the bracket, you know what I'm saying, and come down to that. So, and it's not that the teams played really well, but we had individual players play at a high level. And, again, shout out to Loyola, man. Loyola is, like a lot of people don't realize, Loyola is ranked in the top 10 nationally. NAIA, so their squad is year in year out in the top 25, and you can kind of see why. You know, they're getting a 3-time 5A All-State guard to go down to New Orleans, and when the kid is probably going to be getting D1 phone calls.
Correct. Yes. Yes, you will.
Man, I can't wait. Let's jump into the Sugar Bowl tournament, man. I can't wait for anything else. Like, we got to start talking about this Sugar Bowl. Let's talk about the brackets, Coach. What you think, man? Gold brackets, kind of break it down a little bit. You know, we got Edna Karr, St. Mary's, 2 teams that are kind of looking to rebound a little bit, so that should be a good one. Ben Franklin, a lot of people are talking about them. North Shore, of course, with Spencer, one of the top young players, so that's going to be a good game. Dominicans, very well disciplined. They got a player going, and Bailey going to play at the next level at Millsaps. Liberty, led by Whitney Hart, one of the top forwards in the state. That's going to be a good matchup. MCA versus Newman. You know, that's 2 very common opponents. I think that's going to be a lot closer than people think. MCA, you know, starts to play well once it gets to this point. Newman is more of a half-court style team. MCA can kind of extend that game a little bit. That's going to be a good one. A-Meet is probably going to be one of the favorites to win this thing. They're playing West Jeff. And then you got Northwest Cabrini. Then, of course, you can't forget about the 2 buys with St. Thomas More and Zachary. Man, what's your thoughts in the the gold bracket. What you looking like?
Man, I'm
this
looking at
starts on Wednesday this week.
I'm looking at this bracket, and then I'm gonna give you a prediction out of it. Okay, if Zachary and Amit play in the semifinals there, that winner will be the win that bracket.
I like that. That's probably a good point. Like we're gonna talk about a little bit with the LCA versus Walker in their second round matchup. A lot of people don't realize the court you get matched up on has a big impact on which way these games can slide. So like to your point, Amit's probably gonna try to play up and down. That game's gonna be on the purple court. For those that don't know, at the Lario Center, the purple court is a much smaller court. It's not the regulation size as far as length. I think it's even smaller as far as width as well. So it's gonna be a tiny court. They're squeezing those three back to back to back. So if you're playing on that purple, gold, or green court, if you're playing against somebody that's up and down, fast pace, half court trap, full court press, it's going to give you more problems. You're just not going to have as much space. In order to beat those type of teams, you got to have space. So that's definitely something to look out for. We're going to be coming out with an article as far as like a breakdown of predictions and stuff like that. But I just want to kind of put this on everyone's radar. This tournament starts Wednesday. It goes Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's at the Lario Center. There's 6 courts there. So it's going to be some really good games. Last year we tried to live stream it. For whatever reason, people think that when we live stream games, it affects the attendance and all that stuff. So don't think we'll be able to live stream games as well. But again this year, but we will. I'll still reach out to Daniels and see. But we will definitely be there to cover it. So keep that on everybody's radar, man. There's 11 of the top 25 teams that we have ranked. They're going to be in this tournament. So this is the biggest tournament of the year as far as in Louisiana.
It always is. It's always a good tournament, man. I always wanted to play in that tournament, man. We couldn't because the district is so big. We started district play, so but it's always the talked about tournament and going right into that platinum bracket, man. That potential matchup of Walker LCA in the second round is going to be huge.
Yep, that's what we're talking about. That game is on the purple court. Like when I tell you, standing room only at that game. If you want that game's at 6:30, you better be there at 5 the game before. Yeah. You better not move because it's gonna be standing room only. They're gonna have to have the security on the baseline. There's gonna be both baselines full. You're not gonna be able to stand on the other sideline. The bleachers are only like 3 deep, but that game's gonna be freaking packed. So it's gonna be fun, man. But again, we got LCA number 1 in the top 25. I'll go ahead and let that go. But the problem's gonna be that court, man. That court is so small.
Gonna benefit Walker.
Walker for sure, man.
Gonna benefit Walker.
Definitely. If anybody else is live streaming games, I'm gonna ask personally for permission. So I'm assuming that it'll get denied. But if anybody else is live streaming games, please tag us. We'll definitely post those. I might actually ask if we can record the games and then go back and post them later. But anyways, some of the other top teams from out of state, the team from Chicago, Kentwood, is probably the best team in this bracket, especially from out of state. So that's going to be somebody you really want to kind of keep an eye on. The team from Tennessee, where are they at? They got John Curtis, Bartlett. They played Parkway in the Duncanville tournament, and Parkway beat them by 3. So that kind of shows you where they're at. It's a pretty good team as well. So there's a lot of good teams from Louisiana, of course, in here. But the Sugar Bowl committee has done a great job of getting really good talent. This is probably the best talent they've had since, I don't know, maybe when they had MacArthur here, whenever we had 2 of the top 10 kids in the nation on that team. So it's a really good group. Kentwood and Bartlett are what? Okay, good. Well, then that's good. Well, then that means, that's going to be some really good games then. If Kentwood and Bartlett are kind of what, then that's going to be some really good games. For those that don't know, I did see Bartlett, so I'll go ahead and kind of talk about them a little bit. They got a big kid back to the basket, and they got 2 guards that are really quick. Nothing like super elite as far as the guard play, but it's really solid guard play. Kind of like that low major type level talent. So they're going to be some good games against some balanced teams. And not only is the first round games going to be good, second round games will be good. The consolation bracket is going to be loaded as well. So don't have the consolation bracket on here, but it's going to be some good games, man. Again,
Shout out to Del Clay, man. He's keeping us up to date. We should have had him on tonight.
should have for sure. Didn't even think to reach out to him. It's gonna be good, man. With the platinum bracket going Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's gonna be bang, bang, bang. But again, you kind of see it right here. Like literally, all these games are going on at the same time for the most part. So we'll do our best to. Big kid from Bartlett's going to NC State. Yeah, it's a little different out there, man. They kind of give those kids the benefit of the doubt. The kid's solid. I don't know about NC State. NC State's known for elite post play, but definitely shout out. Shout out to Walker Parkway for representing. Definitely, man. Definitely did good at the Meadows tournament. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and get into it. We'll kind of cruise through the division top 25, and then we'll go into recap at the end overall top 25 before we release that to everyone. So up first, let me go ahead and go with it. Let's see. Drop this into the chat. So we'll go Division 1, non-select. Again, guys, man, feel free to comment, man. I really appreciate everybody for joining us. Comment, that helps us out a lot. It helps us continue to grow the platform, get people involved. Like Coach Kendrick said, man, the information that like Coach Clay's given is very valuable. Anybody else has any type of information, man, it helps a lot. Ready to see, man, for sure. This is gonna be some war games, like LCA versus Southern Lab. Whoever wins that game is gonna be a dogfight, and whoever loses that game is gonna be even more of a dogfight in the consolation. So it's gonna be some good games all the way through. Big Kid going to. All right, so we'll jump into it. Division 1. Coach Kendrick, man, what's your kind of thoughts, man? I'll run through the list right quick. We got Parkway number 1. We got Walker number 1, Parkway number 2. They can kind of be back or forth, right? 1A, 1B. Barb is 3. Team that we got really climbing up the rankings as far as our top 25 overall is Zachary, man. Zachary had 2 huge wins, one over Easton and one over St. Thomas More. They're now 17-1. Another team we got that snuck into the top 25 overall rankings is Santa Maria. So Santa Maria climbs up from 5 to 6. Natchitoches Central drops a little bit. No knock on Natchitoches Central. They're kind of figuring things out, really challenging themselves, man. The losses they have are all top 25 teams that we have right now. They have 7 losses, and all 7 are ranked in the top 25, regardless of classification. That's unbelievable. So for them to be 10-7, absolutely no knock at that. Ponchatoula's following up next. You got a chance to see them. Rounding out the top 10, we got Dutchtown coming in at number 8. Still like East St. John, man. East St. John 8-7. I still like where they're at. I still like where they're playing at. They do have one really kind of tough loss, but other than that, man, they just have a tough schedule. And then we got Denham Springs sneaking into the top 10 for the first time this time. And they're at 14-1. Don't really have a huge win. The only key win is over Mandeville, but they're a solid team, man, winning games. Coach Kendrick, man, what's your thoughts?
Well, man, listen, shout out to Walker Parkway here, going out to Duncanville, as you said, challenging themselves, showing why they're at the top of this division, you know what I mean? But Bart, challenging themselves, Coach Strait, challenging his girls, man, so they're going to be right there in the end as well. They're a team to watch because they have those two. They have the Williams kid and the Manley kid, and they both two can go, so can't sleep on them. But like you said, man, the sleeper here is probably going to be Zachary. Jump going up, making those big wins that they've had since the last time we've been live. So I really like this division. I think by far it's probably one of the toughest, if not the toughest division of them all. So
for sure. And shout out to Zachary, man. The young lady, the Raymond kid, the freshman, I knew about her. I knew she was coming in and everything. I didn't know she was going to have that big of an impact, right? But she is having an impact. I think another big growth that's the reason why Zachary's playing so well is because of Tierra McPipe. Tierra McPipe played unbelievable at St. Thomas More. That's what everyone's telling me. And she's able to freaking play She starts at point guard, right? And they're playing against Easton. Odell gets in foul trouble, who plays a 5. Odell comes out. Coach switches McPipe from the point guard position to the 5 spot. Like that's how versatile this kid is. That's how long she is, man. So I mean, she's a sophomore, man. So shout out to McPipe. She's really taking her game to another level. I think with the combination of her taking her game to another level, the Raymond kid, the freshman coming in, and then Odell just being solid. You know, Odell does a lot of good things, gets their free throw line, does a lot of things that your senior is supposed to do. She's going to Loyola. She's doing things she's supposed to do. There's no discredit to what she's doing. But the reason why that they're able to make such a big jump is because McPipes made that jump and the Raymond kid's able to really come on. But definitely, man, guys, if you have any games that are coming up, man, comment those below. Fairview goes to Natchitoches Central January 9th. That's going to be a huge game. Definitely did not forget about the Zachary plays at Hathaway tomorrow. That's going to be a really big game. That's probably the biggest game tomorrow. I think there's another big game. I think Oak Hill maybe. South Bow plays, or Oak Hill plays at South Bow tomorrow. So that's probably the 2 biggest games tomorrow. But if you guys got any big games coming up, man, comment those. We love to get out, live stream some games and stuff. So, let's see.
Division 1 select.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up with the comments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Walker playing Lagrange in the first round. That is, a physical team for sure. I was talking to Coach Holmes about that, man. Lagrange plays hard, and that's gonna be a physical game. Both teams gonna be running through brick walls on that game, man. Definitely should be a good game. Scotlandville made it through. Yeah, Scotlandville did play well, man. Scotlandville challenged themselves. Coach Kendrick, you always talk about that. You want teams and coaches to challenge themselves. Scotlandville probably played the hardest schedule over the Christmas break, man. And 5 games, 3 wins, 2 losses. That's not bad at all. With lost by 2 to Lafayette, and then they lost to Albany. And I mean, the Albany game was really on the first quarter. They kind of were sleepwalking the first quarter, but it's a good game, man. Some good basketball going around. Teams on the outside looking in. I like Mandeville. I saw Mandeville over the Christmas break. Mandeville's 13-4. They're a disciplined team. Good balance as well. They actually won the Hannon tournament, so that was a good showing. Some good solid teams out there, so that's going to be some good PowerPoint wins for sure. Saw Ruston again, 12-5. Saw Sulphur again, they're 12-5. I do like Chalmette, man. Chalmette's coming up with some wins as well. They recently beat Dominican, so some other teams to kind of keep an eye out on. But we'll jump into Select Division 1. Kind of get rolling through these, and then we'll come back with the top 25. Again, like we talked about. I'm on the wrong thing. Like we talked about, the power rankings and all that stuff, it's going to start figuring itself out. So not really too much time we can spend on these. We'll kind of spend more time on top 25. But on the select side, man, what you got, bro? John Curtis, Lafayette, Huntington, Warren Easton, St. Thomas More, Scotlandville, Dominican, Southwood, Liberty, and Ben Franklin.
Yeah. John Curtis moves up to number 1 this week. After they were down, I think maybe 2 or 3. We had them the last time we were live. And it's no knock against Huntington. They fall out of the number 1. They had 2, tough loss. They played Albany without Kendall Graham, and then they got outplayed by Wiseman here in the West Monroe tournament. So no knock against them. They're still a solid team. We still respect them. It's just Curtis is playing well right now. In this Division 1, and it's always Curtis always find himself the number 1 seed in the Division 1 select. So nothing new there. You knew they would with all these new teams coming into the division. But when it comes down to it, Curtis is going to be Curtis. So that's what we had there. Some other good teams, man. I when we were putting this together. Yesterday when you called me, I told you, I said, man, everybody was sleepwalking on Warren Easton. They come up north the first weekend of the season, lose 3, but they're 12-2 since. So, you know what I mean? Do not sleep on Warren Easton. I got them as a sleeper as they're in Division 1, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Unfortunately, some teams are gonna get left out when it comes to the top 28. I mean, honestly, it may sound bad or harsh or whatever, but that's how it should be. I mean, you should have good teams not make it to the top 28 year in, year out, every division. And I think we see that in both of these divisions. I think that's why the quarterfinal games are going to mean so much more. Whenever you win this quarterfinal game and you go to the top 28, you're going to be celebrating, you're going to be cutting down the nets, it's going to be a big accomplishment for that school, whatever four schools make it out of these two divisions. And that's how it should be. Whenever we kind of split this up. It's kind of hard to keep up with Division 5, 1, select, non-select, everything else. But whenever you take a step back and look at it, like this is a lot better than what it was. I still hope we kind of combine everything. But I do like whenever we're looking at things, how they're shaking up, that the quarterfinal games are going to mean a lot. Like St. Thomas More, Scotlandville, Dominican, Southwood, even Liberty, all these teams can win a quarterfinal game. And I would not be shocked at all. Now I still like St. Thomas. We have St. Thomas More, and as far as Go Preps or the power rankings, is number one team. So St. Thomas More has done a great job of scheduling. They've got a lot of PowerPoint wins. Just don't have that top 25 win yet, so that's kind of why we have them where they're at. But again, if you're one of the top four teams, now you have a home quarterfinal game, so you're gonna have to beat one of these other teams on the road. I mean, Warren East is gonna have to come on the road to beat St. Thomas More, so it's gonna go a long ways.
Right. Correct. And with the new ranking, with the new divisions and whatnot, the top 8 gets the first round bye now. So so it's important to try to get in that top 8, but the top 4 is, like you said, is where you want to be. So if you're outside that top 8 and having to win all 5 of them, you know what I mean. Compared to, I'll take 4 as a coach any day, only having to win 4 instead of 5, man.
Heck yeah. And I mean, Lafayette has definitely been playing really well. So people make an argument for Lafayette to be number 1. I love it as well. Like I could see an argument for Lafayette to be number 1, Curtis number 2, 1A, 1B. I think the reason why we went with John Curtis just because how they kind of played versus Wassman and Negative Central and everything in that Bruley tournament. But what's also going to be kind of cool to see is all this is going to shake out over the next week with the Sugar Bowl tournament. So it's going to be fun to see. Right. This is kind of starting.
And Curtis's only, not to cut you off, Curtis's only loss, I believe, is to Wassman, right? Like you said, yep. I mean, if you're going to have a loss, who better to have it to than Wassman? That's still power points. You still get power points for playing that game. You see what I'm saying? So Wassman's one of the top 2 teams, top 3, 4 teams in the state. You know what I mean?
Yep. And, I mean, again, appreciate everybody for commenting, man. And appreciate everybody. Just click the share button, man. Help us continue to grow this platform for our girls. And we're constantly picking up more people, more followers and everything. So appreciate everybody's support. It takes a village with all that. We'll get to, a little bit further down the list that's not ranked. Ash, right? So just like Coach Clay's saying, look for Ash to start beating some people. They're definitely going to be pretty solid down the stretch. I look for them to win a lot of district games. Look for them to really start kind of winning those close games. Definitely can see them making some noise here in the playoffs. I do think they're kind of a year away from really making a run, but they're going to be a team that's going to be not. Whenever the bracket comes out, you're not going to want to see Ash. I agree 100% with that. Currently got them at number 11, kind of on the outside looking in.
Ash, like you said, Ash is going to win a lot of district games. That district kind of, Ouachita, who else? West Monroe. I can't think of Ruston. Yep. I think they're going to be solid in that district, with that district kind of being a little down this year. But Ash could easily become out district champs there.
For sure. Let's see. Why does it keep closing my live show? Lafayette could possibly face Curtis in the Sugar Bowl. Definitely. Again, I mean, the writing's gonna be on the wall at the Sugar Bowl tournament. We're gonna make some predictions, everything, try to get this conversation started. But when we recap this next week, man, it's gonna be kind of all left out there. So we'll jump into the next division. Let's see. Division 2, non-select. All right. Again, number 1, man, I got Albany. Albany's played well, have done absolutely nothing to kind of get overtaken. Again, 1A, 1B, Albany, Wassman, back and forth. Like you talked about, definitely a game that's going to be coming down. I'm gonna save you a seat, bro. You're gonna sit with me courtside at the
yeah.
I'm gonna save you a seat right now. We already know what it is. So Shout out to
Fine
those two
LGR
teams, man.
courtside, man.
Shout out to those two teams, man. They're doing everything that they need to do. They're traveling, they're competing, they're challenging themselves. They're gonna be ready, man. It just is what it is. It's gonna be kind of who else can kind of compete with and get to that top 28 and give themselves a chance. Like you never know what's gonna happen. You get on that court at Southeastern, bigger court, bigger stage, anything can happen, right? So you just want to be in that number. But rounding out the top 10, man, we got Bruley, man. I really like Bruley. They've played well over this little Christmas break and everything. So they're going to jump up to number 3. South Bow, they lost one to Peabody. That was a close game. But, I mean, they were solid. LaGrange lost a couple games. Still, we'll kind of see how they shake out in the Sugar Bowl. Bastrop still winning all the games that they're winning. So it goes back to that Bastrop, North Vermilion, West Feliciana. Those 3 teams are ranked a little higher in the power rankings. They're all winning games that they're supposed to. Just don't really have any key wins, so not really sure where they're going to shake up as far as if we were to play a game right now today. But they're winning games, So West Feliciana and then Church Point, and I still like Ellender, man. I still like Ellender. Ellender has won 4 straight games. We had them holding on to that 10th spot the last time we talked. So, they're still winning games, man. Won 4 straight. So, what's your thoughts on Select Division 2? Non-select.
Non-select, man. As we said, get your popcorn ready for Albany Wiseman. But man, I know LaGrange has lost a couple, but man, he's doing a good job. He's a good coach anyway. He's a championship coach. You can't discredit him. He's doing a great job with this group that they have this year. I think they've kind of surprised themselves to be sitting where they are right now, and I think he's happy with it. And he's going to knock some people off, as Coach Place said in the comments earlier. They're going to play tough defense against anybody they play with. They'll win their district probably. They're going to be sitting looking pretty good, probably heading over from Lake Charles over to Hammond in March. You know what I mean? So I would put one of them as one of the 4 in there. Ellender, man, some people had Ellender dead in the water written off. I think they may have had some injuries, but they've righted the ship a little bit, like you said, on a 4-game winning streak. And people were like, "Well, why y'all got Ellender in the top 10?" Well, the Ellender is going to be Ellender. You know what I mean? With the injuries they had, and when they got those girls, I'm figuring they got those girls back, and they're right back to who we really thought they were going to be. And shout out, before I go, man, I want to also, you mentioned Brusley, sending out prayers to that community, man, with that accident that happened there with the 2 cheerleaders, I believe. So much prayers, much thoughts to the Brusley community, man.
Absolutely, man. Echo that for sure, man. I was kind of talk about Ellender. Ellender's 15th in the power rankings currently, so it's not a huge stretch for them to be in the top 10. They're probably even higher than top 10. Probably got them too low. But like you said, LaGrange, we got them they're 7th in the power rankings. We got them at 5th. LaGrange's gonna have to go on the road. They're gonna have to go on the road. That's gonna be the key thing. They're gonna go on the road to get to the top 28. So that's gonna be a tough road environment. I think the top 4 seeds is going to be really important. Whoever can get that 3 and 4 seed whenever the season's over and have that home quarterfinal game is going to have a huge impact. Definitely 2 big wins. Bruley beat A-Meet and Dominican in this last little deal. So appreciate everybody for keeping us up with that, man. Let's see. Who else we got? Fairview and Midland plays Thursday. Wow, that's going to be a really good game. I like Midland, man. I'm looking forward to that one. I want to see the outcome. Keep us updated, Mr. Rick, on that one, man. I'm really interested to see that one. On the outside looking in, we still got, Carroll. I like Carroll. Who else? Plaquemine, they're playing solid. Iota. So it's a couple teams still kind of on the outside, can kind of cut into that top 10. We'll jump into Select Division 2.
Lafayette Christian.
Man, they're pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll get it going real quick. LCA is number 1, Vanderbilt Catholic number 2, St. Louis Catholic number 3, Northside 4, Peabody. I like Peabody, man. I really like Peabody. Peabody can arguably be that number 3, maybe even as good as number 2, honestly. Bolton, man. Shout out to Bolton, man. Bolton is A little bit of people may not know, but they had to forfeit some games earlier to some eligibility rulings and stuff. So they had to forfeit some games, ineligible player, all that good stuff. But they're on a 7-game win streak, So if they didn't have to forfeit those games, they could probably be 2 or 3 right now in the power rankings. But
Yep.
they're a little bit lower. Let me see exactly where they're at as far as the power rankings. They're 8th right now. We got them at 6. They could probably be even higher. But I mean, Bolton's gonna be a team to watch out for. Let's just put it that way. They're figuring things out. De La Salle, again, getting back healthy, playing some good basketball. Followed by Buckeye and Bunky, as well as Karen Discovery, man. Karen Discovery 10-4, man, playing solid. What's your thoughts, man? To select Division 2.
Man, like you said, I like Peabody, man. I watched them last year, and they were really good, and it looks like it's carrying over into this year. So it's definitely they're definitely going to be a team to watch there. So the Division 2, man, this one Northside, they're going to be good as well. So you know what I mean. I think, but it all starts at the top with Lafayette Christian, man.
Yeah, I didn't realize Northside took an injury. I noticed that she wasn't in the St. Thomas More game, but she took an injury, so season-ending injury to one of their guards, one of their top players. Actually happened really early in the season. She missed the whole year. So for Northside to be playing where they're at, and they took down Hathaway early, that's pretty impressive. Without the firepower of having all the guards, it's going to be tough to compete with in LCA. But again, man, if they can knock on the door or get to that top 28, I think that's going to be a really good season for them. But I think that opens it up even more. St. Louis Catholic took a big injury. Northside took a big injury. I think you got Peabody and maybe Bolton kind of on the outside looking in. I don't know if De La Salle's got enough guard play to kind of get into that top 28. But, man, the top 28 is not as locked up as I thought it was. Of course, you got LCA kind of above everybody. Vanderbilt Catholic is probably right there with them as they get healthy. So it's going to be wide open, man. It's going to be some big-time performances in the quarterfinals. It's going to make some – I think we could see some people punch some tickets that we're not really expecting.
Yeah, man. Everybody's better get their licks in right now, man. Get the wins they're going to get because, got Madison Prep sitting outside of the top 10. They're a little down this year. And I know Coach Hain, he's a championship coach, of course. They ain't going to be down for too long. You know what I mean? So get your shots in this year because – got some kids that's looking to come in next year that's going to make an immediate impact on that squad. So they'll be back.
Yeah, they were down to 4 kids with some injuries and stuff. So they actually had to cancel some games. So I don't know. I mean, they get back healthy. They're one of the bigger teams, especially in that division. They can have a shot. But man, we'll move along so we can kind of finish up these and then get into the top 25 overall. But next division, man, with the select side, we got Division 3 select. I like St. Thomas Aquinas a little bit better than Newman. Of course, I know Newman is the higher ranked team on that side of things as far as the power rankings and whatnot. I just think it's a bad matchup, especially I'm thinking way towards Hammond, right? So St. Thomas Aquinas is more guard heavy. They're going to press and everything like that. Newman is more post and trying to walk it up, play more half-court style. If it's a half-court game, Newman's going to win by 25. If it's a full-court game, I think St. Thomas Aquinas is going to have the advantage. They've got Holy Savior Menard. They're winning games, man, at the end of the day, winning games. And then after that, man, it really drops off a lot in this division. U-High, they've always won games. They've always known how to get to the top 28 quarterfinal team. I think before last year, they'd made, 9 straight top 28s. You got Glen Oaks. I like Glen Oaks, man. They're physical, aggressive. They got some guard play, some forwards that are bangers, so they're going to be there. Houma Christian, Coach Kathy Luke is getting that program built. They're going to be a little bit away from, really making an impact, but she's winning games. So they'll definitely pick up some good playoff experience this year. Parkview is probably a dark horse that could probably get into the top 28, believe it or not, without the twins. Dunham. Ursuline Academy is dealing with some injuries. They're kind of holding on for dear life in that top 10. But their district is really weak, man, so they're going to pick up a lot of wins. And then Episcopal round out things, man. What's your thoughts on this division here?
Where'd those twins go? Where'd they go? Yeah, that's what I thought. Man, listen, I hadn't really seen. I don't think I've seen anybody in this district play. I mean, this division play. So I'm going to trust your expertise on this one.
Yeah, I mean, no hard feelings, nothing against anybody. This is just one of the weaker divisions. Whenever you start pulling out teams as far as going up, and then some of the teams that come down, it's just the way that the cookie crumbled, I guess you can say. You know what I'm saying? But with that,
Mm-hmm.
man, it's just wide open. You know, I think St. Thomas Aquinas is a slight favorite. I think Newman is right there, and then outside of that, I mean, honestly, I would not be surprised if any of these other 8 teams make it into that top 28. It would not surprise me at all. But Coach Temple, man, shout out Coach Temple, man. He's still over there, and he's over there in Texas. He left us, but still tuning in, man. Coach Keller of Bolton, one of the most slept on coaches in the state. Sky's game has really come together. I agree, man. I agree. Coach Keller's done a really good job. Like I said, they should be even higher than what they are. Had a couple forfeits or whatever. But he's done a great job with that program. Central Louisiana has got a lot of really good coaches now, and coaches that are investing in their program and their kids, man. So shout out to all Central Louisiana area, really. But let's go into Division III non-select. This one's getting a little tighter. You got A-Meet, Rose Pine. But again, whenever you look at the power rankings and our kind of rankings,
I think Rose Pine is ranked first, right?
Yeah, in the power range, yeah. So
yeah.
But like it kind of like starts figuring itself out, right? Like you had said that a couple weeks ago. The power rankings start kind of getting more towards our rankings, and it kind of starts figuring itself out as the strength of schedule kind of starts evening out.
Right.
But still got A-Meet a little bit higher than Rose Pine. I saw Rose Pine very well coached. Again, it's going to be a really big time battle between 2 good coaches, right? Whenever it comes down to Rose Pine, A-Meet, they're going to match up in the top 28 very likely, either in the semis or the finals. Voiles winning a lot of games. I still like Springfield, man. Springfield's 6. The power rankings, we got them 4th. I think they're a very balanced team. They got the transfer from Ponchatoula. They got 2 forwards that are really good. They got the point guard. Again, very balanced team, very well coached team. I like teams that are balanced and are well coached, especially in this division. Union Parish, man. I have not seen them, but shout out to them, dude. They are winning games 12-1. They beat Oak Grove and they beat Coleman. So I mean that's 2 good wins right there. They did their one loss was to Ruston. It was about 20 something. So be a very interesting team to kind of keep an eye on. Be interested to see if they make it to the top 28 and what they can kind of do at that level. We got Sterlington, French Settlement. Again, French Settlement has very good guard play. They're going to play well. Pine is at 8. Pine beat Springfield. So that was a good win for them. That definitely means on any given night that they can win a quarterfinal game. You got Mansfield. You saw Mansfield. They're still playing very physical. If you get the right group, and you're gonna have to find a way to score some points in the playoffs.
Correct.
Good luck. Good luck. And St. Helena round out the top 10, man. What's your thoughts on this division?
Yeah, like you were just saying about Mansfield, man. Coach Kendra Neal, she has her team. They don't do anything else, they're gonna play defense, and they're gonna play tough physical defense, and you're gonna have to earn everything. That's just her mentality as a coach. They take on her mentality there. But Coach Kelly with Rose Pine, man, as you were referring to him, he's a coach, man. He's a coach, and I respect him a lot. Me and him grown to become friends there a lot. But he was there in the semifinals last year, I believe, with Rose Pine. They're looking to revenge that loss and to get back. A-Meet, again, we said it weeks early. People thought they would fall off, but Jean Pierre goes to Southeastern, and they still, by our terms, the number 1 team in this division. You know what I mean? And they're still rolling with Bromsley. She's picking up right where Pierre left off at, and they're rolling. You know what I mean? They lost a couple, but I think they're them and Rose Pine are head and shoulders above everybody in this division.
Absolutely, man. It's gonna be some good matchups, man. It's gonna be again another interesting take when it comes down to those quarterfinal games. And I want to give a shout out to Doyle. Doyle is on the outside looking in. They're 11th right now, according to us. So if they're able to get into that deep playoff run, they're playing well. They're a young team. You got to think they're just going to keep getting better and better. They can make a deep run. Definitely some playoff experience would help a lot for them with that young team and kind of moving forward. Up next, we have, let me get over to Division 4, non-select, like Lakeview, right? So we had Lakeview at number 2. They jump up to number 1 with a big win over Hicks. That was a huge game right there. Again, Lakeview is very balanced. Lakeview has guard play with Washington. They have the forward play, so versatile forwards as well, which is what I've seen has allowed people to win games. But Washington's able to take over games. She took over the game against Hicks, got into the paint, made crazy drop down passes. The kid has good vision. And of course, she made her free throws whenever she was getting fouled and whatnot. So Lakeview is going to probably be the team that's a little bit higher than everybody, but they're still people were able to catch them. I like Lake Arthur. Lake Arthur's playing some good basketball. They lost to Springfield, but they're competing with the right teams. I think they're going to be a team that's going to be able to get to that top 28. A team that's gotten to the top 28 for multiple years now. It's going to be more of an expectation for that program. Although people would consider them to be down, I think they're going to look at them come March, and they're gonna be meeting us there at the top 28.
Correct.
Oakdale Falls, they were number 1, struggling a little bit. Some good losses though, right? So some good losses, so still challenging her team, and not. I think Oakdale has probably played the toughest schedule out of everybody in this division. So hats off to them. I think they will be ready. They could arguably still be a number 1 team. They just had a couple losses. Oak Grove, again, like we talked about, one of the top post players in the state. From years and years, she's only an 8th grader, but she's somebody that's going to really dominate this division for the next 5 years, which is crazy to even say that out loud whenever I hear myself say that. But Caroline's going to dominate that division for the next 5 years. But matchups like Lake Arthur is going to give them some problems up and down, full court. Lakeview's going to get up and down a little bit. So White Castle, I got them at number 5. Again, it goes back to the power rankings are a little different with these divisions. We're looking at the power rankings. You actually have White Castle is number 1. I saw them. Was a little impressed. I mean, Dutchtown beat them pretty handily. So we got to see them win a couple more games. I think the algorithm, I guess you can say, with the power rankings kind of figure it out. They'll be more of a middle of the pack type team. What's your thoughts, man, on this division kind of overall?
Lakeview's kind of riding the ship. They had to figure it out when they lost their good guard to. She went out to Oklahoma, and I think, like you said, Washington had to take on, and learn how to be that leader for them. And I think she's figured it out. And so Lakeview's rolling now. Like you said, you got that kid from Oak Grove, man, who's she's gonna dominate this for the next 5 years. Where'd she just pick up an offer from?
She had Ole Miss. She got Ole Miss, Alabama. I think she's got Auburn as well. 3 SEC. She was on LSU's campus this summer as well.
Yeah, so you're talking about an 8th grader who's going to play Power 5 basketball in this division. So you see what I'm saying? Oak Grove's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Don't sleep on Arcadia, man. We got them at 10. It looks like we got them at 10, I think it is. Yeah, 9. We got them at 8. I'm sorry. We got them at 8. Arcadia is really rolling.
Yeah, Arcadia. That's a good point. Yep.
Yeah, Arcadia is rolling. Another small school. And they're playing really well, 12-6. So here in the north. So shout out to them, man.
I mean, I saw Oberlin this weekend as well. It's good to see teams that I hadn't seen. Oberlin has teams that are like Oberlin has a team that if you don't scout them well, you can look up at the scoreboard. It could be 15-2. Like they got a kid that can flat out shoot it. Pretty well coached. You're going to have to do your scouting report. You're going to have to be ready to go. Oberlin has a shooter's chance, let's put it that way, when it comes to that second round quarterfinal matchup. So definitely more of a dark horse to kind of keep an eye on in this division, man. I don't know what's going on with the Go Preps and Generette. It's just kind of the way that things work out. I'm assuming that they must have played somebody that has a really good record, like a Wassman or somebody. and they must have played up and got some points.
I think the bigger question is they've only played one game.
Yeah, for those that don't know, you have to play 15 games.
Yeah, to qualify. So.
Yep, you had to play 15 games. So, going into the next one, Division 4 select side. Again, 1A, 1B, Southern Lab, Northwood Lena is what we would consider is going to be head-on collision. Top 28 state championship game. Northwood Lena got them at number 2. You can argue they're number 1, no question about that. Especially with having not having their best player to start the season and missing. I think she missed like 10 or 12 games. So they're probably the better team overall. But given bouncing back off of injuries, kind of want to see how that shakes out. Gives Southern Lab a little bit of a nod. We'll see Southern Lab this weekend as they're at the Sugar Bowl Classic. Definitely be some good games. They'll be tested 3 games. Highland Baptist, man, I'm bumping them up to number 3. I like Highland Baptist. I think they've had the hardest schedule out of everybody here. They're on a little bit of a win streak. I think she's done a great job of challenging her team, and I think she will be rewarded for that. I think that whoever draws Highland Baptist, whether it's Northwood Lena or Southern Lab in the top 28 in that semifinal game, is not going to be happy. Like, you're not going to want to see Highland Baptist on that court and have to play them in order to get to the championship game. So it's going to be even more important to be that number 1 seed here in this division. Ouachita Christian, very well coached. They're solid, winning games. Hamilton Christian also as well. Building that program. They got 7th graders on the team, so they're doing a great job. Mackenzie DeVille is of course leading the ship there. Central Catholic also winning games, and then kind of falls out Cedar Creek, Hanson Memorial, Delta Charter. What's your overall thoughts on this division here?
It's kind of like you said. Northwood Lena and Southern Lab seems to be on a collision course down in Hammond in March. Coach Cooper, shout out to her. She's a championship coach. They won it last year. They're looking to repeat. I think when it all shakes out, when we go through the districts and stuff like that, I think, my opinion, Northwood would be the number 1 seed here. But Southern Lab could shock us and say, hey, nope, they're the number 1. I think both of them defending champs, right?
What's that?
Both of them defending champs, correct? Southern Lab
and
yeah. So now you see what I'm saying. So it could go either way, like you said, 1A, 1B, and so both of them way above the rest of the competition in this division. Like you said, it's going to be important to see how Northwood Lena really starts to play when they got their best player back. She was out first, like you said, first few games, and now when they hit this second, coming back from the holidays, is really going to be important to see how they start to gel.
Absolutely, man. And we'll jump into Division 5 select side, and then again we'll get to the top 25 overall. I want to save the best for last, in my opinion, non-select. So we'll go to select side first. Oak Hill versus J.S. Clark. Again, J.S. Clark has done a great job of scheduling, winning all their games that they're supposed to win. They did fall short against Oak Hill, so that's why we're going to leave Oak Hill a little bit higher right now, although J.S. Clark has the top seed in the power rankings. Family Christian is up next. Again, Family Christian's playing really well. They've got the guard play. They got the forward. They're going to be a team. They can win the state championship, and I would not be shocked at all. They're also a team that's won state titles, has competed for state titles year in, year out. J.S. Clark's kind of a new kid on the block, right? They still have to earn that respect. That's going to be a good semifinal game, whoever Family Christian plays, whether it's Oak Hill or J.S. Clark. I think Family Christian has a little bit more experience in both those teams, so don't count out Family Christian just yet. Claiborne Christian also was in the semifinals last year. Again, solid teams. Man, what's your thoughts, Division 5 select?
Division 5 select, man. Like I said, shout out to J.S. Clark. We got some slack. Conversation was going about why we didn't have J.S. Clark up there, but they're winning games, and that's what you're supposed to do. Shout out, they got a new coach. Shout out to Coach Bree over there. They just had their tournament at Louisiana College over the week as well. So shout out.
Yeah, I heard that was a great event too. Definitely hats off to them for that. like the comment here, J.S. Clark is not the same team as last year. They're definitely earning their respect. Like there's no disrespect to be had there, right? They're going to be competing for a state title.
Correct, and man. So when you come down to them and Oak Hill, I think it's wide open here, man. And then flip a coin and tell me who you got. You know what I mean?
And the top 4 teams that we're looking at, Oak Hill, J.S. Clark, Family Christian, Claiborne Christian, all have, or outside of J.S. Clark, all have that top 28 experience. Like that's a big thing, man. Once you get to the top 28, and you get into a routine and everything like that's a big difference. That experience definitely goes a long ways. Let's get into last but definitely not least before we jump into the top 25. Again, guys, appreciate everybody for joining us, man. If you can, click the share button. People can go back and watch this at a later time. We really appreciate everybody. We'll be on for about another 5 or 10 minutes. Let's see. Bell City girls are doing very well. I agree. All right, man. Let's jump into it. So Fairview, number 1 team. I love this division, bro. I know I say that every time. I love this division. Fairview, number 1. Hathaway, number 2. I mean, looking at the top 25 wins and stuff like that, I like the Hathaway's going to be playing Zachary tomorrow. Like that's going to be another challenge. I think Hathaway's doing a good job of challenging themselves. They might be too high. They might be too low. We don't really know, but we're going to find out, right? Because they're playing Zachary tomorrow. They do have that. They had that big win over St. Thomas More as well. Midland, man. I like Midland. I like what they're doing. Might have them too low. Like, right? You could argue you can switch Midland and Hathaway. You saw Coleman, man. Coleman had a great tournament, great week. Reeves winning games. Hicks, I love how balanced they are. Saw them this week. Bell City's winning games, big games. Quitman and Florine. Anacoco, man. Anacoco's bouncing back. Got off to a red-hot start. Struggled a little bit. And then now we got them in our top 10. Again, I think they have a great, strong schedule. As far as that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to reward teams in this top 10 that have good schedules. What's your thoughts, man? Division 5.
Yeah, Division 5s, man. Whew, I know this is your favorite division when we talk. You really like this division. Fairview saw them earlier this year. They're the normal Fairview, man. They're going to get up and down the floor. Haven't seen Hathaway, me personally, yet. But Coleman just covered them. Coleman, we got them at 4, and you look at their losses, man. They lost to Union Parish, Huntington, and Parkway. You see what I'm saying? So
crazy.
Coach Housley is not running from any competition. And they're a small school playing those big schools, man. They ain't running. They want all the smoke. And Reeves, Hicks, bouncing back. Got that. I guess it's that new gym field there. They're gonna and that helps a lot, man. Shout out to Coach, man, to keep that program together the last 2 years, not having a gym, and now you got it, and that Hicks is gonna be Hicks, and they'll be okay at the end there, man.
Like you talked about, man, the quarterfinal games in this division are going to be absolutely crazy. Like we've got Reeves at 5. They went from not ranked to 10 to 5. You look at the power rankings, they're 2, right? So they're obviously doing some good things at 18 and 2. I mean, there's teams that are on the outside looking in. Hicks is going to have to win a game on the road in the quarterfinals. Coleman's got to win a game on the road in the quarterfinals. Bell City, Anacoco, like all these teams are having to win games on the road in the quarterfinals, man. It's just going to be such great games, great matchups, man. Like right now, if the playoffs happen today, you'd have Midland versus Coleman. Like that'd be.
Yeah, that's going to be. Oof, yeah.
And you have Hicks at Reeves, and you have Bell City at Fairview. Like it's going to be fun to watch the playoff, the bracket, I guess you can say like the bracketology breakdown over the last week and a half of this one, and kind of see who the matchups could possibly be.
Hey man, my advice is coaches better break out their pad and pencil, man, and start working that PowerPoint formula. kind of see. Shout out, holler at us. We'll give it to you. You know what I mean? And so
that's right. We can do a crash course.
Yeah. So man, one team we got out right outside of the top 10, man, is Wally. I saw them at the airline tournament, man, and they got some good pieces there, man. And we're not talking about them, but I think they're gonna make some noise too. So this division, as you said, man, is deep.
That's right. You did get a chance to see Wally. I did hear that they had some good group, good pieces or whatnot. And I think that's even a bigger part. Like you said, like that's teams that we're not even talking about. Like that's gonna be
Exactly.
first round matchups.
Exactly. So,
All right, so
so
let's go ahead and jump into it. Why is this not working? Give me a second. I'm trying to get the. We're gonna get the top 25 now. We'll break it down. Again, this is where more of the debate's gonna come along, and I think this will be more what the talk of our Sunday night hoops will kind of be down the stretch. Appreciate everybody again, guys. Appreciate all the love, all the support. Top 5 teams right now. Go ahead and drop them into the chat. We're gonna release the article after this as well. So appreciate everybody again. This is no disrespect to anybody. We are trying to get the conversation started and keep the conversation going about girls basketball, Louisiana girls basketball. This top 25 means absolutely nothing, right? But on the flip side of that, whenever it comes down to, again, a possible matchup, Lafayette Christian versus Walker, that's arguably the best 2 teams in the state, in our opinion, right? Because we got Walker jumping up over Albany, despite the fact that Albany did beat Walker. I do think that Walker has proven themselves, especially with the wins, their performance at Duncanville event. I think that they've kind of proven themselves as far as that matchup, right? Parkway again probably has proven themselves to be the number 3, number 2, even number 1 team. They came in third. I think Walker had a little bit tougher of a draw. So we're just going with Walker right now in the games that they have won in state. Parkway's done a great job of traveling across the region for the most part. They haven't played as many games in our state, so they don't have as many big time wins. So man, what's your thoughts on top 5 right here? We got LCA, Walker, Albany, Parkway, and Wasserman.
I think we're dead on. I really do think I really think we're dead on, man. Like I said, LCA hasn't done anything not to be considered, the number 1 team in the state. But then there's a conversation that can be had that says Corey, the lady, 9557 Press Boulevard, right? I think that's what they said. They could easily be, hey, they made a case this weekend out in Texas, man. And you got to show much respect to them, bro. So I think we got it dead on.
Yeah, I mean, highlight some of the players on the top 5. Jada Richard playing at a crazy high level. She's a high major lot. Kid has an offer from Ole Miss. I think LSU will eventually end up pulling the trigger. So I could see her in purple and gold in the future. Walker, led by Caitlin Travis, playing crazy good. Again, I think she's already locked up her 5A All-State 3 times. And we're in December. Like I think she locked it up in December. Albany is just so balanced, very deep, well coached, the best rebounding team in the state. Block out like crazy. They will put you into the wall, right? They're not just gonna block out like on the court. They're gonna block you as far as you allow them to block
right
out. Parkway played crazy well. They match up really good versus really good teams. So that's something that's definitely gonna be impressive. Wasserman is doing what they do, man. They're going around playing everybody, and they're gonna be ready for the when it comes down to that top 20.
Man, listen. What people don't understand about Wasserman, man, if you want to play fast, they can play fast. If you want to play in the half court, they can play in the half court. You want to play big man ball back to the basket, they can surely do that. So Wasserman, it's gonna be a tough draw for anybody anywhere. You know what I mean. So shout out to them, man.
Yep. Albany, definitely, I agree. Albany, for those that don't know, Albany is like as small school is a big school with a small school feel at 3A. All family, like everybody knows, everybody plays. Their parents know. Like if you call practice on Christmas night because you have a game on the 26th, like no one's gonna bat an eye. They're gonna be, all right, coach, what time you need them there? Like that's what it takes to be a program like that. The top 28 every single year is their expectation. I mean, again, no knock to Albany. Albany's 19-0. I think Albany could end up running this thing off and being undefeated, coming down to them and Wasserman for a state championship. So it's gonna be interesting to kind of see these all kind of play out down the stretch. Jumping into the next set, 6 through 10. All All right, let's see what we got here. So we got Fairview. Fairview drops a little bit because they did lose that one game to Hicks. We got John Curtis jumping up from 9 to 7. Bard falls one spot. They're 15-3. All three of their losses, though, are to some really good teams, as they've lost to LCA, Walker, and Wassman. So all three of their losses, we got them at 8. All three of their losses are teams above 8. So really playing the top of the top teams. Just not able to win one of those games just yet. Lafayette, they're falling from they were 10th. They're going to bump up to 9th. And then we got Huntington falling just a couple spots. What's your thoughts, I guess, on these 5 teams? Any players that you kind of saw and that you like? Give another shout out as well.
Well, yeah, man. Listen, I think we're dead on. Fairview, beating Parkway early in this year. John Curtis, the only loss is to Wassman. And then Bart, Coach Trey ain't ducking anybody. He's taking his girls and playing anywhere. Tell them to name the gym and they're gonna show up. You know what I mean? And so, but Lafayette, Crystal Narcisse, it's Crystal Narcisse, and she has her team inside the top 10 for a reason. And then you look at Huntington, they fall a little bit. You could flip them and Lafayette there. Flip a coin, it could easily be 8, 9, 10, the other way. You know what I mean? So, I think we're solid with our top 10.
Fairview only has 2 upperclassmen. I think that's something that we're kind of just brushing off, and that's like no easy feat there. Fairview has 2 upperclassmen. We have them. They were 6th. Week 1 they were 8th. Week 3 they were 4th. Like they've been in the top 10 the whole time we've been doing this, and they have 2 upperclassmen. So with Jinx at point guard for years to come, Smith out there knocking down threes along with the others. Like that's going to be a really good team for quite some years. John Curtis also super young. I don't think they have any seniors. They have 3 players that we have in the top 10 of each of their classification. So they got a really good balance. You can look up at the end of next week, and John Curtis can be in the top 5, right? If they come out and perform well in the Sugar Bowl. So all this is going to kind of shake out. Like we said, there's 11 teams that we have in our top 25 that are going to play in the Sugar Bowl this weekend. So we'll do a little article, kind of break down a little bit more details of each team and stuff. Barb has been playing extremely well. I love the Colson sisters shooting the threes. Ariel Williams is probably the biggest stock riser right now in the 23 class as far as how she's played.
Very underrated.
Yeah, we're going to definitely be putting some junior colleges on her. She's a track star as well, so I think she wants to play both in college, track and basketball. So it'll definitely be a really good sign for her. She's willing to go out of state too. So anybody, as far as college coaches that are interested in non-D1s, somebody that's definitely a diamond in the rough. Lafayette's balanced, right? Narcisse can get a bucket. Johnson can get a bucket. Grace Paul, you can drop it inside. They're playing some good basketball right now. I think Huntington's just gonna keep getting better. Like we got them dropped a little bit. Their only 3 losses are teams that are above them. Again, you know what I'm saying? So I think they're gonna continue to get better. Jumping on down the list, man. 11 through 15. Mr. Patterson, when is that game again? A-Meet versus Albany. Type that in for me. I need to write that down. Try to get out there though. I think it's next weekend or next week. Not this week, but next. Let's see.
You got Zachary sitting at 11?
Yep. So Zachary comes in at 11. We had them not ranked at all. They pick up 2 huge wins, St. Thomas More and Warren Easton. So they're jumping all the way from not ranked to 11th. I think, again, they're in the Sugar Bowl this weekend. They're arguably the favorite to win that gold bracket. So they come away with the gold bracket title. They could be in the top 10 easy in the driver's seat for the top 28 in that Division 1. But rounding out 11 through 15, we got Warren Easton, Vanderbilt Catholic, Hathaway, and St. Thomas More. What's your thoughts on these teams and any players that you've seen that kind of stood out to you?
Man, listen, I haven't seen Zachary play. Only one on this list I've seen is Warren Easton. I've seen them. they're a pretty deep squad to me. I just like I just like their style of play. And how they get up and down the floor, and I think they could play any way. They could play inside and they could play out, and then they can get up and down the floor with Tajay at the point. You know what I mean? So I really like them.
Yeah, so I mean Zachary only has one loss to Scotlandville. Like I said, I talked about it before. I'll give the kids a shout out again. Tierra McPipe's playing unbelievable. I've had some college coaches reach out, kind of curious about her as well. She's a sophomore playing really well. The Raymond kid is playing extremely well as well. The freshman. And then Odell is solid. So that's a three-headed monster there, three different players. And then they have the pieces around them as well. They're a very deep team. They can play eight. So they're playing some good basketball right now. Warren Eason, Cam Washington, the Newman, young lady Newman, as well as Tajay, all three-headed monster. From the guard spot, really good. Guards win games. But they also have Randolph and Woodson, two very physical forwards who will bang and do anything that you want to on the boards. Vanderbilt Catholic is getting healthy with Journey getting back. They got the Charles sisters who are phenomenal, and then they have other pieces around that as well. Hathaway is somebody, we're gonna get a little bit more information as Hathaway and Zachary play tomorrow. That's 14 versus number 11 in our rankings in the top 25 across the state. So that's a top 15 matchup tomorrow. So that's gonna be a huge game. And then St. Thomas More, again, they're ranked number 1 in their division, in that Division 1 select side. According to the power rankings, they just don't have any top 25 wins according to us. So just something to kind of keep an eye on, kind of down the stretch there. But I mean, St. Thomas More is winning games at the end of the day. Let's see, 16 through 20. Again, man, a lot of these things are going to kind of shake up in this next week because 11 of the 25 play. So it's all about getting that conversation started. But the A-Meet versus Albany, January 13th. I might have to mark that one down. I'm going to be at that one. Live Zachary and Hathaway. I'm not, but if somebody is going live, let me know. I'll definitely share that and be interested in watching that as well. I'll probably get the film to watch that later. 16, we got A-Meet. They're taking on and then we have followed by Santa Maria. Santa Maria goes from not ranked to the top 25 at 17. I like them. I like where they're at. Southern Labs at 18, Scotlandville 19, and Northwood Lena at 20. What's your thoughts on 16 through 20 here?
As we said, A-Meet, being A-Meet, everybody thought they were going to be down here. They all they've done is beat, of course they beat Southern Lab earlier this year. Then you got St. Amant, like you say, they go against and they beat Scotlandville, that's St. Amant, and Southern Lab beat Scotlandville as well as St. Louis. You see what I'm saying? So they got some big wins there, and then Northwood Lena. We were ranting and raving about Peabody, and they go beat them. You see what I'm saying? They go kill. So I think this is showing us what it's really supposed to be.
For sure. I mean, A-Meet, again led by Haley Brumfield playing really well. Miracle Irvin coming back, getting healthy. Two-headed monster at the guard spot. They got the post players as well. They're physical bangers. A little young, but they're still banging down there. That's going to be a team that's going to be, again, in the top 25 next year as well. But they did have two losses since we have done this recently. They lost to Ponsu, and they recently lost to Bruley, which actually gets Bruley into the top 25 in the next little group there. Santa Maria has 4 losses. All 4 losses are to better teams. So, I mean, honestly, we haven't had them ranked at all, and now we have them into the top 25. They probably should have been in the top 25 before. Their only top 25 win is over Scotlandville, but their 4 losses are all to teams that are above them. But I think they're playing some good basketball, man. I think it's going to be a team to watch down the playoffs. With Lefty, unsigned senior, again, one of the top 2023s. Thornton, she's going to be somebody that is going to be a diamond in the rough. Somebody's going to be happy to have her as well. Southern Lab, young team, they're going to continue to get better. Don't be surprised if Southern Lab at the end of this jumps A-Meet, gets into the top 15, top 10. Again, good showing at the Sugar Bowl. It's going to kind of leave everything on the paper here. So a lot of these teams are in the Sugar Bowl, and will give an opportunity to climb up these rankings if they perform well. Northwood Lena is getting healthy, so watch out. Like that's just kind of what I can say for that one. As we kind of round out the top 20, 20 21 through 25, a couple new teams here. Let's see. All right, so we got Northside. Again, Northside's going to be an interesting one as far as the top 25 ranking. See how they kind of figure it out down the stretch here with the injuries and stuff. Oak Hill, still giving them the nod in the top 25. They're still kind of holding on. They're going to have to play a little bit more consistently. They're winning games, big games, but they're also losing some games as well. Bruley, I like Bruley, man. Bruley has fought into the top 25 with a win over a meet. And then Midland, man. I think Midland, you can argue, can be in the top 20. We got them at 24. They got wins over Oakdale, Oak Hill. Their only 4 losses are to Hathaway, Barb, LCA, and South Bow, like you talked about that as well. And then Denham, man. Denham sneaks into the top 25 at 14-1, arguably kind of the best record of everyone else. But they don't have any top 25 wins. So what's your thoughts, man, rounding out 21 through 25?
Well, I like, with this group here, I like Brusley, man. I really like Brusley and what they're doing. Coaches got their team poised to go make another run at Hammond. And so, Northside, I'm really interested in what they do. Been hearing a lot about them. Got to get out and see one of those games there. Like I said, they beat Hathaway. So, Oak Hill, like I said, got to be more consistent. So that's where we're at on that. Denham Springs, 14-1, but okay, let's see you play some. Let's please play some more tougher competition. Let's see where you really stand at, and right at and because we got teams right outside the top 25. Looking at the list here, that could easily jump in and be one of those last 5 teams in. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. Like you said, kind of looking on the outside, looking in, man. You got Lakeview. I really liked how they played, man. Very balanced, but again, no real true quote unquote top 25 wins. South Bow, we've had them kind of at that back end 25th. Is that kind of they did lose that game to Peabody. I think if they beat Peabody, probably they're still in the top 25, kind of at the bottom end there. St. Louis Catholic does fall out with a big loss to South Bow. Picked up a couple wins, but they don't have any top 25 wins as well. They'll still compete in their division, just not at the highest level that they're accustomed to in the top 25. In my opinion. Mandeville, again, knocking on the door. Dutchtown, knocking on the door. Reeves from their division. Peabody, still kind of around there. Like St. Thomas Aquinas, Natchez Central, Oakdale, Rose Pine, like all these teams. Even J.S. Clark, like all these teams are kind of just on the outside looking in the top 25 across the board. And it's no disrespect to anybody. But when we talk top 25, we're looking at the elite of the elite, and we're trying to get that conversation started between LCA and Walker. If they match up in the Sugar Bowl, like we want the conversation to be, all right, this is number 1 team in the state versus number 2 team in the state. So everyone should at least know there's no question about it. Walker and LCA are a top 5 team in the state. No one can argue that. So when it comes down to that matchup, like that's going to mean even more to those kids, to the coaches, to the fans, everything. So they're going to be even more locked in. That's the reason behind us putting together a top 25 list, right? It's not about putting any team down, any program down. This is all about getting the conversation started. So I appreciate everybody for, following with us, being with us here today, man, bringing in the new year. If you guys have any games or anything you want us to kind of cover, man, let us know. Like I said, Oak Hill, South Beauregard, that's definitely going to be a good one. Please keep us in tune with that. Denham plays Albany this Friday. That's going to be a good game. I'll be at the Sugar Bowl, unfortunately, but if somebody can keep us posted with that one. But, I mean, again, guys, anything y'all can kind of keep helping us continue to grow the game, any feedback, it takes a village, man. So appreciate everybody for joining us. Coach Kendrick, man, shout out to you, man. Again, 15 games last week, bro. That's awesome, man. Appreciate you, bro. Happy New Year's, man. You want to kind of cap us off here?
Oh, man, listen, just shout out to everybody. Happy New Year's to everybody. Shout out to you, man, for having me on the team this year. Just trying to represent, give it a new feel, new perspective, just trying to do my part, man. That's all it is. I'm thankful that you you reached out to me and said, let's go. So let's go. You know what I mean? Looking to see what's going on, what's going to happen with this Sugar Bowl Classic. And, you know, next time we'll have some great conversation about it next time we come back. You know what I mean? With those games going on.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, guys, stay tuned, man. If you don't follow us on social media at LGR Basketball. We'll be doing updates. The Sugar Bowl starts on Wednesday. So I think there's like 8 games on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So make sure y'all stay tuned, man. We'll be back next week.
And man, before we go, man, I know we mentioned it earlier, but serious business. Shout out to the Bruce Lee community, man. Prayers are with them on the tragic they had there in their community, and we hope all is well with them.
Absolutely, man. Yep. Appreciate everybody, guys, and we will see y'all next time on LGR Live, man.